Hi everyone, my name is Miss Metz and I'm going to be your language arts teacher this summer. So first off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself because most of you have probably never met me. I have been at the Lemoyne Center before and I helped out with the Spanish program. So if any of you participated in that this past year, you may have seen me around. Some things about myself are I just graduated from W&J College, which is right down the road from the Lemoyne Center, and I'm now a certified teacher. So I can teach elementary school and special education, which is why I'm helping out with this program. Some things that I like to do are I like to ride my bike. I've been doing a lot of that during quarantine with my dad. I really like swimming. I swam all of my childhood and 2 years of college. And I also like going hiking. So I'm excited to work with all of you, and I wish that we could actually be together in person. I know it's hard with just online learning, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get to know you in the future. And we have 6 weeks together, so hopefully we'll be able to communicate. And if not, you can at least pass on a message or a question that you have for me to someone else at the Lemoyne Center, and then they can forward that message to me. So, we are only going to be learning things that you already learned in school. So it's just a review. I don't want it to be anything hard. And it's going to be a little bit tricky to figure out where everyone is in terms of what we know. So with online learning, it was definitely hard for everyone to be at the same place in what they were learning and go at the same pace. So this might be a review for some of you, and for some of you, it may be not something new, but something that's maybe a little bit challenging to you. And we are going to start with something that should be a little bit easier because you're in second and third grade. So I picked a topic that I think you would be comfortable starting with, especially with me being a new teacher to you. I want it to be something that you're comfortable with. So we're just going to start with talking about nouns and verbs. And then we have 6 weeks together. So over the course of that time, we will move to more advanced things, but it's never going to be anything that's super challenging for you. I don't want you to feel stressed out. This is just for you to keep learning during the summer since we missed out on school, and to have a little bit of fun too. So it should not be something that's hard for you. Like I said, we're going to start with nouns and verbs today. So I want you to take a second and think to yourself, what is a noun? If you had to give me a definition of a noun, what would you say? And I want you to say it out loud now. Pretend that I'm with you asking you the question. Okay, so a noun is a person, place, or thing. And I'm hoping many of you got that right. That's kind of the base that we're going to start with today. We're going to build on that. So we have nouns, which is a big term. And underneath that term, we have common nouns and then we have proper nouns. So like you just did, I want you to say out loud, what is a common noun? Or you can give an example of one. So a common noun is a person, place, or thing, but it's not specific. So some examples that I had to help you understand were you could say school, store, toys, or college. We're not naming a specific place, person, or thing, but it is a noun. So then on the other hand, what is a proper noun? So a proper noun, still a noun, but it's more specific. So you're naming a specific person, place, or thing. So like with the examples I gave you for common noun, a proper noun could be Washington Park Elementary School. That's a school, but it's a specific school. And what kind of letter does a proper noun start with? Capital or lowercase? So a proper noun will start with a capital letter. Washington Park Elementary School, all capitals. And then we said store was a common noun. A proper noun would be Walmart. Walmart starts with a capital W. We said toys was a common noun. What could be a toy that would be a proper noun? I want you to say one out loud. So the answer that I said was Legos. It can be anything that's a specific toy. You could say Barbies, Legos, anything that has a certain name, and that letter is capitalized. And then the last one I said was college. A proper noun for a college could be Washington and Jefferson College, which is where I graduated from. So we have common and proper, and again, repeat what nouns are for me. Person, place, or thing. That should be in your head. Always remember that one. And then, what is a verb? I want you to say that out loud to yourself right now. So a verb is an action word. And I want you right now to give an example of a verb. It can be any verb. Okay, so a verb that I came up with was swim. Another one could be run, walk, eat, any word that's showing an action. And when we write sentences, as you know, we have our subject, which is a noun, and then we have the action that our subject is doing, which is that verb. Good. So that should be a review. And we are going to do a little bit more to review that today before we move on to a new topic next week. So everyone should have this worksheet in their resource bag, and it says nouns and verbs at the top. So I want you to get this one out and read the directions quietly to yourself. So it says, once the teacher shares the word list on their screen, please write each word from the list in a box below. And then I have on here reminders for you of what a noun is, person, place, or thing, and then what a verb is, which is an action word. And then we have a chart down there with noun or verb. And like I said, I will show a list on here. I want you to pick if the word is a noun or a verb. We'll do the first one together. Then I'm going to give you a few minutes to do it on your own. I'll work on it at the same time as you, and then we will review after and talk about why we picked the answers that we did. So let's share my screen here. Okay. So here's our list. And these are the only words that I want you to use. Don't make up any words. Don't use your own. We're just looking at these words. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. I want you to go ahead and write those words in either the noun side or the verb side. There's only 12 of each, so you'll use all your boxes. So go ahead. I'm going to work while you do, and then we'll review after. So first one we'll do together is bear. Is that a person, place, or thing, or is that an action? So I'm saying that a bear is a thing. So that would go under a noun because that falls under person, place, or thing. So I want you to do the same with all of the words. I want you to give your reasoning. And take your time. If you're not done when I am, you can pause the video and play it when you're ready, so don't rush. As you're going through too, I want you to say the words out loud so you know what they are. That can help you keep track of where you are as well. Okay, I'm almost done. So just finished. So if you're done too, you can follow along with me. We're going to go through and review. If not, pause the video here, finish up, and then jump back in and start watching again. So we did bear. We said that was a noun because it was a thing. Sleep, that's a verb. That's an action word. Hand, person, place, or thing. That's a thing. Your hand is a physical object. Find. Find is a verb because that's an action that you can do. I found the bird outside. So that's past tense, but I'm doing the action of finding something. Then we have bed. A bed is a physical object. It's a thing. So that would be a noun. Then we have work. Work is something that you do. It's an action. So that would be a verb. Crawl. Crawl is also something that you do. The baby crawls across the floor. So that would be a verb. Grass. The grass is green. The grass is outside. Those sentences show us that grass is a physical object, so that is a noun. Mother. Mother is a person, so that is a person, place, or thing. That's a noun. Baby, also a person. That would be a noun. School. A school is a place. That was one of our examples earlier. So we know that a school is a noun. Kick. We can kick a ball. We know that's an action we can do. So kick is a verb. Then we have draw. Draw is an action. You can draw a picture. That's a verb. Dig. I dig in the dirt. That's an action. So that would be a verb. Box. A box is a thing. It's an object. So that is a noun. Build. I build the house. That's an action that I'm doing. That's a verb. Home. A home is a place. So that falls under the category of noun. Dive. I dive into the pool. That is a verb. Rabbit. A rabbit is a thing. It's an animal. So rabbit would be noun. Paper. Paper is a thing. That is a noun. Hop. The rabbit hops across the street. That's an action, so that's a verb. Phone. I talk on the phone. The phone is a thing. It's a noun. Hear. I hear my mom talking. You're hearing, you're doing an action, that's a verb. And eat. I eat my dinner. That is also an action. So we reviewed all of them. I'm going to show you my answers too. I know we went a little bit fast, so let's go back. Here is what I have. So I want you to take a second, and if you don't have these answers, I want you to copy those down as well. Okay, so pause my video here. Take a look at my answers if you don't have them. And I want to remind you too that you go at your own pace on this. So if you need to pause it and catch up, don't feel rushed at the pace we're going. So we are going to talk about pronouns a little bit. So if you've learned about pronouns, or if you think you have an idea what they are, I want you to say out loud, describe to me, pretending that I'm with you, what is a pronoun? How would you explain it to me? So take a second and do that. So pronouns, I want us to think of pronouns as being, they're still nouns. It's our person, place, or thing, but it's a less specific way to talk about a noun. So if we look at our first noun, bear, if we don't want to say the word bear, if we say, I saw the bear in the woods, it's a very descriptive sentence. We know what you saw. Think about a really young kid telling you a story and they say, instead of saying bear, they say, I saw it in the woods. So it could be a pronoun there. We would substitute it for bear. So it is one, you could say he or she. It's still a person, place, or a thing, but you're substituting it for a less specific word. So you use those words all the time. You probably use them when you're telling stories because it's easier. Once you introduce what you're talking about, like bear, mother, for mother, you could say she. It's just an easier word or an easier way to describe what you're talking about. So that's all a pronoun is. But for today, we just focused on our nouns and verbs. So that's all we're going to be worried about. Now, you have a little bit of space at the bottom here. So what I want you to do, we're going to take a few minutes. I want you to write me 2 sentences, and I want you to use a noun and a verb from the top. So they can be really goofy sentences. Like, I'll give you an example. Take a few seconds and write one, and I'll write an example for you that we'll review. Okay, here is my sentence. The rabbit sleeps in a tree. So I used rabbit from my nouns and then sleep from my verb. So I want you to take a second, finish up your sentence. Once you're done writing your sentence, I want you to circle the noun, underline the verb. So we're circling our noun and underlining our verb. So here's what I did for my example. The rabbit sleeps in a tree. I circled my noun, which is my person, place, or thing, rabbit. Sleeps, that is my verb. That's the action the rabbit is doing. So I underlined that one. And like I did up here, you can circle that, underline the word verb. That'll help you remember. So I want you to write one more sentence, just like that. I want you to pick a noun and a verb, and I want you to write me another sentence, circling the noun, underlining the verb. We'll take a minute to do that. I'll write another one for you. Okay, so I'm going to circle my noun and underline my verb. And you may have other nouns and verbs in your sentence. If you want to circle and underline those too as well, that's fine. I'm just interested in the ones that we had from this list. I want to see that you can circle and underline those. So you can pause again if you're not done. This is the example that I did. The baby draws funny pictures. So I circled baby and underlined draws. So I just want to know that you're able to use these nouns and verbs in a sentence, because I don't know, for me, sometimes it's harder to identify them than use them in a sentence. So you might be perfectly fine using them in a sentence, but when it comes to picking out what's a noun and what's a verb out of all these words, you might have a harder time with that. But it's important that you know how to do both. You have to be able to use those words in a sentence, and you have to be able to pick if a word is a noun or a verb. So both parts of what we just did were very important. One's not more important than the other. They're equally as important that you can do both. So we're wrapping up here. I want you to say again to yourself, what is a noun? Say it out loud to yourself, how you would describe a noun. You can use your little cheat sheet at the top too if you want. So a noun is a person, place, or thing. And then what is a verb? A verb is an action word, such as sleep, find, work, crawl, all the examples we have on our sheet here. So that's the main takeaway that I want you to have from today is nouns and verbs and how we use them in a sentence, like the examples that we did. And last thing we're going to do is each lesson that we have will have a question at the end that I need you to answer down here in the comments. So when you answer this question, that's kind of like us taking attendance and we see that you are here for the day. So if you don't answer that question, it's like you weren't here, didn't do the lesson, didn't watch my video. So I need you to answer this question. And I'm going to say it out loud now. If you have to go back and listen to it again, if you didn't catch it, you can go back as many times as you need, but you have to answer it. So what I want you to do is write me one sentence in the comments using a noun and a verb correctly. So, like the examples that we just did, I want you to do another one. You can write it down first if you need to, and then I want you to type it for me into the comments. So you can use a noun and verb that we had on here, or you can choose your own, come up with a completely new sentence. You can make it funny, anything you want to do. But you must write me one sentence using a noun and a verb below. All right. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. It's going to get a little more interesting next week. We might do something with stories. It's going to build each week. So make sure you're keeping track of what we learn each week and that you feel comfortable with it. And if you have a question, let someone at the Lemoyne Center know. If you have a contact, they can forward it on to me so you don't feel like you're alone or stressed out in this process. So enjoy the rest of your week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye.